that's kind of like the other side of what I was hoping you would address, which is like, on one hand, there's these like core mechanics, right? Like the team and their background, because in an early stage, that's, you gotta look to that to see whether you can even trust this group to get something done. But the momentum piece is like every single time you're showing that the dogs will eat the dog food and it's repeatable and it hasn't happened just once. At the same time, you're building this differentiation that is unique, and maybe defensible too, assuming you have a big market. I think those are all things that, I've seen in my past, really excite people. And there's an element too, I think that you guys would probably agree, which is like, eye is in the beauty of the beholder, because a lot of times if you go to one investor versus the other, somebody will be like, holy shit, what you're doing is incredible. And another one will be like, yeah, that seems like an interesting business, but maybe I'll play a little bit in it. And I think that, understanding, I mean, you hear this all the time. And I think I also see a lot of younger entrepreneurs not take the time to really understand who the investor or capital source is, and how are they measured and what are they trying to get out of it. Because, people spend a lot of time talking to the wrong investor just because they say that they're an angel investor or they're a VC or whatever. And I think that finding the right people, where there's great alignment, is worth the time that it takes as well. So I think those are great ones. Yeah, John, go for it.
Mr. Paul, I'm here.
Well, I
Okay,
love
I'll come to you in a sec, Alan. Thank you.
I love the
Okay.
wisdom. I would love the thanks. Is it Kane? Is that the proper pronunciation? Kane. Thank you so much for that, brother. That was awesome.
Of course.
And I would say this, Paul, like from my perspective, we got burned early on, my business partner and I, in our career, and then we turned into equity preservationists, so to speak, and then built what we've built. But where we've suffered is we have not gotten good at raising capital. So yeah, I wanted to build more friends, but I wanted to learn from all of you. And we produce incubated companies and we do it out of our mothership, but that has allowed that we've kind of suffered from that, like not allowing some of these to really take flight, like get them to a point where, like Kane is saying, like, de-risk by proving certain aspects of your model. And then, and I think where we want to get to now is we want to build a network and people and relationships where we can present these and then look for that injection fuel to take it to another level beyond what we can supply as a sort of a mothership, if that makes any sense. So my point is I'm keenly listening, and I really appreciated what I'm already hearing.
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, you guys, part of the reason I was showing you the EPX platform, that if you're raising capital, and by the way, John, even for the little MVPs that are popping out, there's actually a place where you can put in a couple of deals that you're connected to or responsible for. But when you put those in, part of the goal and the game plan was to have any EPX members that are raising capital, because everybody in here is an all-star and has a very good shot at being successful, especially if this entire network can swarm you and help you become successful, which is part of the game plan. But there is a little bit of a medium term to longer term move where if we have a list of everybody raising capital, we can take that list and share it internally, but also externally too. And it won't be long before the conversations of having capital sources connected on the inside of EPX to make this faster and easier